Okay, the T20 World Cup is getting intense. And for Team India, it has all come down to this. We're talking about one last nerve-shredding match that's standing between them and a real shot at the title. So what exactly is on the line here? Let's break down this massive showdown.
You know, all those complex calculations, all the what-ifs, they're all out the window now. For India, the situation has been boiled down to its most basic, most brutal form. You either win this game or your World Cup dream is officially over. It's that simple.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of this pivotal clash that has the entire cricketing world holding its breath.
So here's the setup. The stage is the legendary Eden Gardens in Kolkata. You've got India going head-to-head with a really dangerous West Indies team. And this isn't just another group match. No, this is a knockout game, plain and simple. Everything they have fought for so far, it all comes down to what happens in this one match.
But to really get why this match carries so much weight, we gotta zoom out a little and look at where things stand in Group 1. Trust me, the numbers here tell a really tense story.
So, as you can see, South Africa? They're sitting pretty at the top of the table, already through. No worries for them. The real drama, the whole story, is that battle for second place. Both India and the West Indies are tied on 2 points. But, and this is a big but, they are nowhere near equal.
And this, right here, is the killer detail. This is where India's entire campaign is hanging by a thread. It's all about that net run rate. Look at that difference. West Indies is way up there with a massive positive NRR, while India's is actually in the negative. That one little number could decide everything. And right now, it is not looking good for India.
So, because of that huge NRR gap, we've got 3 different ways this whole thing can play out. 3 scenarios, but with only one semifinal spot left up for grabs, only one of these teams is walking away happy.
Let's kick things off with scenario number 1, India wins. This is the simple one, the one every Indian fan is praying for, right?
If India wins, it's their golden ticket. Doesn't matter if it's by 1 run or 100. A win gets them to 4 points and boom. They've booked their spot in the semifinals right alongside South Africa. And that scary net run rate we were just talking about, totally irrelevant. They can just forget it ever existed and start thinking about who they'll face next.
And get this, a win doesn't just get them into the semis. It gives their overall chances of making it to the final a plus 12% boost. In a tournament this tight, believe me, that is a massive, massive swing.
Okay, let's brace ourselves for scenario 2. The one nobody really wants to think about. What happens if India loses? Well, if India loses, that's it. It's the end of the road. No second chances, no coming back. They'd be stuck on 2 points and would have to watch as the West Indies jump to 4 points and march on to the semifinals. For India, the tournament is just over.
And remember that 12% boost to their final odds we just talked about? A loss sends it crashing down to a big, fat 0. Their shot at the final completely evaporates.
But you know, there's a third way this can go. And honestly, it might be the cruelest of them all. What happens if the weather in Calcutta decides to interfere? What if the match gets completely rained out?
Yeah, this is where that nasty net run rate comes back to haunt them. A washout means both teams get 1 point each, leaving them tied at 3 points. But because the West Indies NRR is so much better, they would be the ones to go through. India would be knocked out of the World Cup without a single ball being bowled. Can you even imagine?
And yep, just like a loss, a washout means their chances of reaching the final drop straight to 0. It's a devastating way to go out, and it just hammers home the reality of the situation. India has to win. There is no other path forward.
So, the path to the semifinals is crystal clear for India. But the shockwaves from this one match, they don't stop there. This result is going to send ripples across the entire tournament, completely changing the odds of who we see in that final.
So let's zoom out again and look at the big picture, the championship match. How does all this drama in Group 1 affect who's most likely to be there at the end?
First thing to remember is that the other half of this puzzle is already solved. Over in Group 2, England and New Zealand have locked up their semifinal spots. They're just waiting to see who they'll play. This means that as soon as the India-West Indies game is over, we'll have a much clearer idea of the most likely final matchups.
All right, so with all of that in mind, who's going to clash in the big one? Let's look at the numbers because they tell a really fascinating story.
Okay, check this out. As it stands right now, a South Africa versus New Zealand final has the highest probability at 18%. But look what's right behind it, an India versus England final at almost 16%. You see how a single win for India would just catapult them up this list and completely reshape these odds. And if the West Indies get through, their most likely final would be against New Zealand. It's just wild how much is riding on this one game.
So there you have it. The paths are clear and the odds are on the table. For one team, the equation couldn't be simpler. Just win. For the rest of us, we just get to watch and see which two teams are going to rise to the occasion and seize their shot at glory.